As of 2024, the richest countries in Africa are measured by various economic indicators, including gross domestic product, GDP, and gross national income, GNI, per capita. Gross domestic product, GDP, is a monetary measure of the market value of all the final goods and services produced and rendered in a specific time period by a country or countries. GDP is more often used by the government of a single country to measure its economic health. The figures presented here do not take into account differences in the cost of living in different countries, and the results can vary greatly from one year to another based on fluctuations in the exchange rates of the country's currency. Without further ado, here is a summary of the 10 wealthiest nations on the African continent based on GDP. Number 10, Ghana. The economy of Ghana has a diverse and rich resource base, including the manufacturing and exportation of digital technology goods, automotive and ship construction and exportation, and the exportation of diverse and rich resources such as hydrocarbons, as well as industrial minerals. Following the macroeconomic crises experienced in 2022, Ghana witnessed some improvements in its economic conditions throughout 2023. The fastest growing economy in the world in 2019, Ghana is well endowed with natural resources. Agriculture accounts for roughly 1/4 of the GDP and employs more than half of the workforce, mainly small landholders. Number 9, Tanzania. Tanzania's economy has been resilient, growing by 5.2% in 2023, compared to 4.6% in 2022. The services sector remained the main driving force behind Tanzania's overall economic growth, expanding by 7.3%, supported by buoyant economic activities in financial and insurance, transport and storage, and trade and repair subsectors. The economy of Tanzania is a lower middle-income economy that is overwhelmingly dependent on agriculture. It has sustained relatively high economic growth compared to global trends, as is characteristic of African nations. Number 8, Angola. Economic growth in 2023 has been revised down to 0.8%. Oil production fell short of expectations due to a major maintenance shutdown in the year's first half. However, the good news is that growth is expected to rebound since 2024, driven by non-oil sectors, while new oil projects could increase oil production in coming years. During the first decade of the 21st century, Angola's economy was one of the fastest growing in the world, with reported annual average GDP growth of 11.1% from 2001 to 2010. High international oil prices and rising oil production contributed to strong economic growth, although with high inequality at that time. Subsistence agriculture provides the main livelihood for 85% of the population. Oil production and supporting activities are vital to the economy, contributing about 45% to GDP and 90% of exports. Number 7, Kenya. Kenya's economic growth is projected to slow to 5% in 2024 from 5.6% in 2023, the World Bank said in a new report released on May 2024. Service sector resilience and export recovery in 2024 is expected to boost growth, according to the World Bank's twice-yearly report, which assesses recent economic and social developments and prospects in Kenya and places them in a longer-term and global context. The economy of Kenya is market-based with a few state enterprises. Kenya has an emerging market and is an averagely industrialized nation ahead of its East African peers. Number 6, Morocco. The economy of Morocco is considered a relatively liberal economy, governed by the law of supply and demand. Since 1993, in line with many Western world changes, Morocco has followed a policy of privatization. Over the years, Morocco implemented a series of development plans, enacted economic reforms, and encountered various challenges that have influenced its economic trajectory. Morocco, however, still depends to an inordinate degree on agriculture, which accounts for around 14% of GDP but employs 40 to 45% of the Moroccan population. With a semi-arid climate, it is difficult to assure good rainfall.
Number 5. Ethiopia. The economy of Ethiopia is a mixed and transition economy with a large public sector. The government of Ethiopia is in the process of privatizing many of the state-owned businesses and moving toward a market economy. The banking, telecommunication, and transportation sectors of the economy are dominated by government-owned companies. Coffee is critical to the Ethiopian economy. More than 15 million people, 25% of the population, derive their livelihood from the coffee sector. Number 4. Algeria. Algeria's economy, with a GDP of $266 billion, is heavily reliant on hydrocarbons. The nation's vast oil and natural gas reserves are critical to its economic structure. Efforts to diversify into renewable energy and manufacturing are underway to ensure long-term growth. Algeria's economy is dominated by its export trade in petroleum and natural gas, commodities that, despite fluctuations in world prices, annually contribute roughly 1/3 of the country's gross domestic product, GDP. Until 1962, the economy was based largely on agriculture and complemented France's economy. Since then, the extraction and production of hydrocarbons have been the most important activity and have facilitated rapid industrialization. Number 3. Egypt. Egypt ranks third with a GDP of $347 billion. Its economy is diversified across sectors like tourism, agriculture, and manufacturing. Recent economic reforms and development projects have bolstered its economic performance, though the country has faced challenges related to currency devaluation. Number 2. South Africa. South Africa is another economic powerhouse with a GDP of around $373 billion. It boasts a highly diversified economy, encompassing mining, manufacturing, agriculture, and services. This diversification helps South Africa maintain its economic stability despite facing issues such as unemployment and inequality. The economy of South Africa is a mixed economy, emerging market, and upper-middle income economy, one of only 8 such countries in Africa. The economy is the most industrialized, technologically advanced, and diversified economy in Africa. Number 1. Nigeria. Nigeria holds the position of Africa's largest economy with a GDP of approximately $477 billion. The country's wealth is largely derived from its oil and gas industry, making it a significant player in the global energy market. Despite economic challenges, including currency devaluation and inflation, Nigeria remains a major economic force due to its large population and natural resources. The economy of Nigeria is a middle-income, mixed economy and emerging market with expanding manufacturing, financial service, communications, technology, and entertainment sectors. It is ranked as the 39th largest economy in the world in terms of nominal GDP, the second largest in Africa, and the 27th largest in terms of purchasing power parity.